The day we stop is the beginning of the end.
100%. It's a use it or lose it. If you stop being able to do a sort of functional deep squat or a deep lunge, if you stop doing it for long enough, you're not going to be able to do it again. There is one sort of myth that I want to kind of attack here, and that is the idea of metabolism slowing. When you have brain fog or you're trying to think of an idea, what happens? You go for a walk, suddenly it floods. That's all to do with blood flow. It's got to be the reason that when we start walking, our ideas come. But I guarantee that one that moves more, you'll stay sharper in your brain. And when our joints are feeling a bit more inflamed, we're feeling sore, our bones are getting a little bit less dense, then things get harder and harder. So it is calories in, calories out, but the difference is our NEAT, stands for non-exercise attributed thermogenesis.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Eat, Burn, Sleep podcast. We are now jumping straight into the second part of this episode. If you haven't had a chance to listen to part 1, I invite you to go back and listen to it now. Let's continue the conversation and pick up right where we left off. So I have tried creatine because, all my followers, they always want me to try things. And I tried different brands, and some did bloat me a bit because naturally I have digestive issues, and others didn't.
Yeah.
But the reason why I took it was not to grow my muscles, touch wood, good muscle mass on me.
Yeah.
This is genetics, by the way. I put on muscle easily thanks to genetics. I mean, I exercise, but it was not my aim. My downfall is the recovery from exercise. So I love pushing in the gym. I love all the inflammatory workouts. They're my favorites. But I get like crazy workout fatigue on the back of it where I can't work for the day. I'm like knocked out. Because once I'm in the gym, I get competitive with myself and I'll push and I'll forget and disconnect from my body. And then I can't do my work for the rest of the day and I'm screwed.
Yeah.
So I was taking creatine to see if I was seeing an improvement. I didn't notice a massive improvement. I was talking to a friend who's a personal trainer. He was like, why don't you try BCAAs? They've been around for a long time. I was like, yeah, sure, it's just protein. Yeah, maybe because I do my workouts in the morning. Maybe I'm depleted from the night. The 2 eggs I'm having are probably not enough or whatever.
Exactly,
So I got some BCAAs. And you have this brand that I got, it's pure BCAAs. There's nothing else in it. And they are quite, I have to take 8 of these pills. So it's quite a lot. But like magic, my recovery from my workouts, and I can measure them with the Whoop as well, instead of being in the orange the next day, I'm back in the green.
Yeah,
instead of spending 2 days. So for me, for the goals I was trying to hit, BCAAs worked better than creatine.
Because it's about your recovery.
Yeah.
Well, first thing I'd say is again, I would still want to urge you to use creatine as well, because creatine is, those are 2 different uses, right? It's great that those BCAAs were helping your recovery. So BCAAs are branched chain amino acids. So amino acids are the building blocks of protein, just for anyone that isn't sure. And so when your body breaks down protein, you have this circulating pool of aminos. So what I think is happening in your case is you're suddenly flooding your body with this, or bolstering it with your circulating branched amino acids. And that, particularly for you, helps your recovery. So that's amazing. Definitely keep doing that. But I think you should also still take creatine. And when you mentioned that you found it sensitive to your stomach, I should have mentioned some people do. They've done a test recently where they show it's about dissolvability. The warmer the liquid, I know it sounds crazy to have it in a tea, but the warmer the liquid, it dissolves better, or you need a finer powder. And Bear Biology, the ones that they do with fish oils, they've just released a powder that is very, very fine, mixes very well. So try a really fine powdered creatine, mix it in, and if it does irritate your stomach, or you still feel a little bit bloated, just start with 3 grams. You don't have to start with 5 grams, and just build up that way. But I would recommend you try again with your creatine. Yeah.
And at what time of the day would you recommend taking it?
Doesn't matter. It's not a stimulant. It's not going to keep you up. Again, and you're not going to notice it. Like I don't notice much at all when I have it either. But you should just know that it's bolstering that first bout of energy, that first 10 seconds, if you want to really, really increase your power output, you're going to have a little bit more if you've been taking creatine regularly. And, you need to take it for a decent couple of weeks before you're going to fully saturate your creatine stores. Bodybuilders used to use this saturation period where they would take upwards of 10 grams a day to saturate their creatine stores faster. That's not necessary. As long as you're consistent with it, 5 grams a day for a couple of weeks, you'll get saturated muscle cells. You might not notice much during your training, but I promise it's helping you and potentially helping brain health as well.
I heard that,
Yeah.
yes. And what do you think about, so I did this video where I got such a backlash on social media. I found creatine in my kids' drawers and I was like, yeah, they're teenagers, they have enough testosterone, they're young, they're still full of stem cells. Why are they taking creatine? I got like so much hate from teenagers on social media. Let my bro take creatine.
Yeah.
My own kids, Christmas card. Dear mom, thank you so Merry Christmas. Thanks for another fabulous year, except for the video about creatine.
Amazing. But
So what would you say?
That's an important story because I think, and this is not by fault of you. This is I think a lot of people have heard about this thing, creatine, and even some people still think that it's like a steroid or it's this banned substance. It's the most researched and safest supplement in the world. And unless the only time it's a risk is if someone has pre-existing kidney conditions, and even then they just need to consult their doctor. It still might not be a problem. But if you have healthy kidneys, there is absolutely no risk whatsoever. It is the most researched. The only thing that will happen is your creatinine in your urine will go up. And if you haven't told your doctor that, or your doctor says, your creatinine is high, your doctor should ask you if you're taking creatine, and then if you say yes, they'll say absolutely no problem. If you're not taking creatine and your creatinine is very high, then they might want to look into it. But alone and taking creatine, there's no problem. So and there's no problem with finding it in your teenager's drawers either. There's a lot worse you could find. So
that's what they said to me. They're like, Mom, kids do drugs, they vape. All we want to do is work out. But I'll tell you my view with my kids. They're really big boys, okay? They have a lot of muscle mass. Genetically, their dad was, strong. We didn't have a girl, maybe we would have but we have 2 strong boys.
Yeah.
And I like to stay on the safe side. So I give them food-based supplements. I give them vitamin D, because we're all deficient, fish oils, because it's food-based, saffron, which is a powerful anti-inflammatory, amazing for cognitive function, mood, and so on. And I say to them, I'm like, boys, okay, they're like, it's the most researched supplement. They repeat all of it. I'm like, yes, but it's synthetic.
Yeah.
So it's not
but
food-based.
Bioidentical, though. It is bioidentical, meaning that it's literally identical to the creatine that's found in red meat and found inside us. The only thing I would add to that is that the getting natural sources, I agree totally. But we know, say, if you talk about boron or other minerals, and we know that it's depleted in our soil, so we need to supplement with different nutrients because we know it's deficient in our food. Same thing with creatine is you'll never be able to eat enough meat per day without ending up huge in order to saturate your creatine stores completely. And you might think, well, if we're not naturally supposed to saturate all our muscle cells completely with creatine, then why would we do it artificially? But we know of its safety, and we know that there's no risk in doing so. And we know it might give us that tiniest competitive advantage. And I know your sons play rugby. Yeah. So that's a lot of sudden explosive. That is literally the perfect and safest. I'm not on your kid's side here. Yeah. But that is the best thing they could be having. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. That's very helpful, actually. Very helpful. Do you have any clients who are close to the menopause or past the menopause that you are training and working with?
Yes, I do. I only train a couple people now because predominantly my work is done online, but I have a number of clients online and one in person. And there's so much misinformation, and it really sucks because I think ladies have had a rough ride with just not enough research and so forth. But I will. There is one sort of method that I want to kind of attack here, and that is the idea of metabolism slowing. And I hate to be that person. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, it's calories out and calories in versus calories out. It is. That's always going to be a fundamental, right? The law of thermogenesis. But yes, there's some hormonal changes that make it much harder. And if we talk about metabolism drop, do you know what? It's actually it only works out to about 100 to 150 calories. It's not this massive drop. That comes much later for men and women when we're over about 70. That's what studies have shown. So menopause isn't this massive slowing of your metabolism. So it is calories in, calories out, but the difference is our NEAT, which stands for non-exercise attributed thermogenesis. We move less. It's all subconscious movement too. We can talk about trying to put in your 8,000 steps or 10,000 steps. Now, there's a theory that because that's conscious exercise, that doesn't even count as your NEAT. So when I talk about NEAT, the non-exercise attributed stuff, that's fidgeting while I'm sitting here, the impulse to get up and walk around or take a call. It seems like very, very small movements, but they all add up over the day, and they account for a lot more of our daily energy expenditure than dedicated exercise and even steps. And so even just by turning that dial down of how much we move can make huge differences in body composition. So yeah, you've got a little bit, 100 or 150 calories you've got to be a bit more cautious of, which is nothing. That's a small biscuit or a bite of a muffin. That's nothing. That's very easy to control. But it's keeping moving. And it's hard when your hormones are all telling you that you're tired and that movement is harder. Like I totally get it, but just understand that is the force at play that's causing the weight gain, not a slower metabolism, which is kind of good also in a way, because it means you still have control. It means, yes, it's hard. Your hormones are telling you that you're more tired, plus your sleep's affected. Yeah, that's a big one. So I think the sleep supplements we've talked about and trying to regulate that is massive. But yeah, it's about making that conscious effort just to move more. And you know, if you're a little bit more inflamed as well, which can happen, that's another reason why I like to emphasize the mobility, taking your joints through their full range, moving more, because it's a use it or lose it. If you stop being able to do a sort of functional deep squat or a deep lunge, if you stop doing it for long enough, you're not going to be able to do it again. And when our joints are feeling a bit more inflamed, we're feeling sore, our bones are getting a little bit less dense, then things get harder and harder. So it is. I can't imagine what it's like. I'm a dude. Like it does sound horrible. It sounds unfair, but there are ways that you can to counter it. And as long as you know the mechanisms at play, like the hormones, you know, making you tired, the lack of NEAT. As long as you know those mechanisms, you can work on trying to correct them.
I'm so glad you're mentioning mobility, because people don't realize that when you move, you produce synovial fluid.
100%.
And that is the oil in the joints.
Moving it around, yes, exactly.
And the less people move. Yeah. So if you have a shoulder pain, you want to be moving, you want to be rolling your shoulders, so it goes away. Yeah. And when you see someone really old in the supermarket who's like this, that's like years of not having moved, not having opened. Yeah. And I actually, with my little workouts, I always include moving my ankles, my knees, my hips, my shoulders, my wrists, because to age well, we need to continue moving.
100%. Yeah. And on that note, yes, there's the use it or lose it principle, but also if we can sort of dive into posture here, and people think, oh, well, what is the perfect posture? The perfect posture is movement. There's no such thing. Like, this is not inherently bad by itself as long as it's for short term. This is said to be good posture, but again, you wouldn't want to sit like this all day. The most important thing is that you're constantly trying to move. You're getting up, you're moving around. That is the best posture. Best posture is movement. I'm
going to tell you a little story. I hope the people I'm going to talk about are not going. I'm pretty sure they're not going to. So recently, I spent 2 weeks with 2 friends of mine, one close to 80 and one close to 90.
Wow.
Okay. And the one who's close to 80 is super sharp, had a fantastic career actually in politics, but lives in a country where you get a lot of help. And the one who's 90 lives in a house in London, still works, but he lives in a house, so he has to go up and down the stairs every day. He does have help, but not to do everything. And the 90-year-old is much more mobile, than the 80-year-old, because the 80-year-old, everyone does everything.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, wow. And actually, I was talking to my friend who's 90. I was like, you see, having someone make a cup of tea for you is no good. And he was like, come on, don't go as far. You can't be making your own cup of tea.
Yeah. Surely you'd want to make it yourself and make it right anyway.
Yeah. But just, house chores, doing things. If you have help cleaning the house, at least reorganize your drawers, like do things.
Yeah.
Moving is super, but these little everyday things.
Yeah.
The day we stop is the beginning of the end.
100%. And you know what? I don't know what they're like sort of mentally, but I guarantee the one that moves more, you'll stay sharper in your brain as well. Do you know, like everyone notices that when you have brain fog or you're trying to think of an idea, what happens? You go for a walk, suddenly it floods. And that's all to do with blood flow. And you talked about synovial fluid. We also have fluid in our spinal fluid that encases our brain. All that stuff is kind of filtering constantly. And when we're moving, like that's got to, it's not proven, but that's got to be the reason that when we start walking, our ideas come.
Yeah.
And it's just as humans, we're just made to move,
Absolutely. So movement, mobility,
make you sharper as well.
strength.
Yeah.
For aging.
That's it. Yeah.
Tim, thank you so much for coming. It's
Thank you
been
for
a
having me.
pleasure. Loved this conversation.
Yeah.
If people want to find you, where can they find you? If I want to work with you, where do I go?
Best place is probably Mr. Tim Blakey, all as one word on Instagram, is where I do put a lot of my content out. Otherwise, my website is www.primebody.co.uk.
We will link all of this.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Tell your sons I'm proud of them for taking creatine.
And they're like, Mom, we could be doing worse things. Other kids take drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much to all of you for listening to this podcast today. I hope you enjoyed it. It's always such a pleasure to talk about health because it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Looking after our health is a daily thing, just like brushing our teeth. We've got to focus on it, we've got to do it right so we can live better and happier lives. For those of you who are not members of the platform yet, we have a discount code for all our podcast listeners. You can get 15% off the memberships. Just enter the code podcast15 at checkout. And make sure to read all the articles and all the free content we have on eatburnsleep.com to keep you motivated and informed and educated about living an anti-inflammatory lifestyle.